I got it.
We have it.
Laura shared it with us.
I have an extra copy.
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right, so Daniel Serraldo is not here. Brian is not here.
Brian, you're over.
Brian is here. You get to be first.
Okay. Let's go. Start the timer already.
Now you know how it feels walking in and you be
Okay.
sleeping.
I can knock on my door. I don't miss the door knobs.
Next to you.
Oh, that's.
That's
All right, I'm going to be waiting here about 5 when you have.
All right.
and you've got your list of questions that you're supposed to include in your opening remarks, right?
Yeah.
Okay, without further ado, we're going to be doing group 1 first. There are 6 candidates, and right now, neither Daniel or Monique are here. So we're going to start out with Brian.
Can the other 4 candidates raise their hands for the same group?
They're all together.
Oh, they're all there together.
Yeah, all of these are gray. If you notice, the next 2 are white, which is Laura's group, and Alex's group is blue. So the group 1, 2, and 3 are who's up for election. Okay, so we're going to start off right with Brian. It's 5 to 7 minutes, and she'll let you know when you're at 5 minutes. So you
Thank you, Ray, for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you here in Collins Park. Collins Park is a very special place. It's a place where there is so much magic. We have the most important cultural anchors within earshot here: the ballet, the Bass Museum of Art, the Miami New Drama. A little ways away, we also have the New World Symphony, which is also a very, very important institution here. And arts and culture figures so prominently into this city, into what Miami Beach is. What is Miami Beach to you? To me, it's about magic. It is a place that I can remember coming across the causeway when I was a young kid with my parents and feeling captivated about this city, knowing that I had to one day live here. But I think all too often in Miami Beach, we tend to look at the short run, and we tend to not focus on creating more of that magic. We're going to be judged not on what we tolerate, but what we build together in the future. Just look outside. Not right here at Collins Park, but a few blocks away on Collins, on Ocean Drive, Lincoln Road, Washington Avenue, 41st Street, Harding and 71st. These are failed neighborhoods. They're not serving us. They are not dynamic. They are not livable. They are not what we should be like. We can do so much better. Now, I'm not from the political world, but I have been serving our city for over 20 years. I've been on 5 different city boards: the board of the Bass Museum of Art since 2012, the Cultural Arts Council, the Historic Preservation Board with Ray for the last 3 years, the Board of Adjustment, and the Board of Capital Improvements. And in my professional life, I've helped launch a tech startup, I've managed large real estate projects, and I have managed complex budgets in finance, in philanthropy, and in real estate. I bring life experience to this role, but I also bring something else. I've got a lot of energy, I got a lot of passion, and I got a lot of grit. I've knocked on over 9,000 doors in this city, and it is truly the joy of my life to have done this in the last 8 months. And in those conversations, I have come away believing that we have to deliver on 4 key areas. Number 1, we need to have a master plan in this city. It needs to be well designed. No more one-off deals with developers. We need to bring the best architects, the best designers in the world to come to reimagine those commercial corridors that I just spoke of. Number two, we need to have infrastructure that you can see and that you can feel. We need to make sure that our streets and our sidewalks are built to last, because many of them are sadly crumbling, that our stormwater systems are as well. And infrastructure isn't just pipes and pavement, right? It's also our cultural infrastructure too. It's where we are right now. Number three, we've got to have accountability at City Hall. That means we need to take some of the lessons from the private sector and apply them here. We need scorecards so that you can see what the grade is of every department in this city. So that you can see whether a project like the Lincoln Road redesign is on budget, or is on time, or if it needs redirection. So that we understand and that we can hold our city accountable. That happens with all of us, right? In our private lives, when we're working, in our own jobs, there are consequences, and the city needs to do that as well. We need to have audits and public scorecards, and to really hold people accountable at all of our institutions, because we have to deliver for the people of the city. And we're paying the highest taxes of all the people in South Florida. And lastly, number four, every project that happens here has to strengthen our community. I am relentless, I'm disciplined, and I'm focused on delivering results. And I'm excited to earn your support. Thank you.
Which commissioner on commissions do you most closely identify with? In terms of your views and their views?
Right. I mean, look, there are some traits that I admire in some of the commissioners, but I'm not trying to emulate myself after I meet them. What I'm doing is something quite entirely different that I think any of them are. I do think it's my job to make sure that I can work with all of them so that I can accomplish the work for the city. I see myself as an independent person. That's how I've been my entire life. In the private sector, working for cultural organizations here on city boards, I've always been independent. So I have a hard time with that question because I just see myself in that light.
Okay.
Thank you.
Up next is Ava Frankel.
Are you guys good with me sitting, or do you want me to stand? Stand? Oh, now it's on. Okay, you guys, I realized, by the way, also my name is Ava Frankel for the people that I haven't met, but I realized it was a couple debates ago. I see a lot of familiar faces here at a lot of the debates, and I feel like I'm just saying the same thing over and over again. So I think in this one, I want to say a little bit of some different things, but I'm going to go through your questions. Really quick. Yes. So, first question, what is the primary reason you are seeking to be elected as a commissioner, and what experience do you have for this office? The primary reason is because I was born and raised in Miami Beach, and I love this city so much. But I've seen over the years, we keep doing, it comes in different forms, of course, because we keep electing new people, but it's all the same, over and over and over again. We elect these people, we have the frustrations, we feel like they don't listen to the community, and then it just keeps happening on a cycle. They're getting bribed by who knows who, and da-da-da-da, and it's just like annoying, and the real things that need fixing seem to never get fixed. Our water, when it rains, just a drizzle, we see water in the streets, and that's unacceptable in my eyes, especially for a city that has almost a $1 billion budget. What experience do I have for this office? So, growing up, I was kind of my mom's intern. She renovated and restored over 20 historic homes in Miami Beach. So I love our history. I know firsthand how much beauty can come from what others seem to think we should destroy. I love our history, love what the possibility possibilities. I see it all. I feel that I'm very creative. I don't know if you guys have seen the videos that I've been making for my campaign. I feel like they're very fun and innovative and creative, and that's what made Miami Beach popular in the first place. Fun, innovation, creativity. We were doing things that nobody else was doing. I also have just like, I mean, it's hard to get into all of it right now, but I mean, I have so many random life experiences that I feel like they blend together so perfectly for something like this, because I feel like I can empathize with all different types of people. It just makes sense. How long have I lived in Miami Beach? I already answered that. Born and raised here. I left for college 3 years after when I worked in wealth management at Merrill Lynch. What current commissioner in Miami Beach do I closely identify with? Most closely? Honestly, like, I don't think I identify with any of them super, like, it's like what you were saying, there's traits in all of them. Like, I feel like Alex is so fun and bubbly, and I'm fun and bubbly. I feel like Kristen was so, like, she's so vocal, and she's so not afraid to speak her thoughts, and I feel like I'm like that too. But I really feel like I'm Ava Frankel, and that's who I am. And hopefully people are looking up to me one day in the future. Okay, other than our lovely beach, tell us top 3 reasons. I love this question. Top 3 reasons you feel people visit or choose to live on Miami Beach. I was actually thinking about this before I came here, and this is kind of the topic that I wanted to bring up. I feel like in Miami Beach, and honestly, in the world, we're so extreme. It's like, what are you? Are you Republican or are you Democrat? And if you're Republican, then you can't be this, and if you're Democrat, you can't be this. Oh, you're independent and you're thinking this, then you must be a Republican. Oh, but you also think this, then you must be a Democrat. And then it's like, spring break. No spring break. Or, yes, spring break. And it's like, if we think that if we allow spring break, it's suddenly going to be Mardi Gras in Miami Beach, which we don't want, so then we do no spring break, and then all the businesses are suffering. And it's like, why does it have to be so extreme? Why? I don't think it needs to be. And I think, in a way, that extreme way of thinking is almost a cop-out, so that people don't have to make a decision. They don't have to get creative with their decision making. Because it's, how easy is it to just say, okay, we're gonna block off spring break, no spring break. But you know what? To that question, what are the top 3 things? 5 minutes? Am I at 5?
You're 2 seconds away from
Okay, so I'm at 5. Okay, well I have another 2. But, so, what do people come here for? They come here because Miami Beach is fun. It's a fun place to be. But they also come here for the health and wellness, which sounds crazy. How can a place like Miami Beach also have such a strong health and wellness scene? And then there's also the arts and culture. I mean, go on Ocean Drive, go anywhere in our city, you'll see history where you're not even looking for it. So people come here because they're transported to another world. You can't find this anywhere else. And, you know, on the topic of spring break, just because that was what was in my mind, I think that there are a lot of people that would love to come to Miami Beach for spring break, that are lovely families, that have kids, that want to spend the day with their kids at the beach and the pool, and then spend the night with their friends at a lovely restaurant, maybe getting fun drinks after, or going out with their husband or wife, or I don't know, whatever they want to do. They're coming here because Miami Beach allows them to do whatever it is that they want to do. I lived in Boston for a few years, and when I was there, I felt like I stuck out like a sore thumb. I felt like everyone there was so much the same. And I think that the beauty of Miami Beach is that everyone can do whatever they want to do and feel free to do it, and no one's going to be judged. Everyone can just feel safe being who they want to be. And I think that that's the best thing of Miami Beach. And I think that if we want to get back to the Miami Beach that we all know and love, then we need a little bit of something different. And I think that I offer that. So I really appreciate your vote. My name is Ava Frankel. I also studied engineering. and I got a $96,000 scholarship to study it. So I would love to work hand in hand with the engineers, finally fixing our flooding problem.
Thank you. One question we didn't answer is, have you served on any boards?
No.
No committees, no boards.
No.
You want to start right at the top. Okay. Omar? Omar Jimenez?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Omar Jimenez, and I know quite a few of you in this room. Welcome to the ones that I don't know. It's a pleasure to have this opportunity to serve our community and to meet you this evening. As a 20-year-plus resident of Miami Beach, my family and I left Cuba in the early 90s. My father is Cuban, my mom's Ukrainian. We were on a flight on the way to the Ukraine when we stopped over in Shannon in Ireland, and we got off the plane. My dad said, it's way too cold in the Ukraine in September, so we're staying in Ireland. And that's where we lived for about 20 years. We opened Ireland's first Cuban restaurant in the history of the country. And then in 2004, we came to the United States to visit South Florida, just like many of us have, just on a family vacation. And we fell in love with this absolutely beautiful place that we have here. When we went back home, we decided that we were going to move here, relocate our lives here, uproot everything that we knew, so we became two-time immigrants. I did all my education, my upbringing in Ireland, and then once we came here, I was already an adult, so I began working at my family's business in South Beach, now called Bella Cuba. It's a Cuban restaurant. We've been there for 20 years. In 2022, we were awarded the Hispanic Heritage Business of the Year Award by the City Commission, and earlier this year, we were also recognized as a legacy small business in Miami Beach by the City Commission once again. In 2019, I launched my first big venture here in Miami Beach, the Parkview Islands Sustainable Association, after I bought my first townhome in North Beach in 2016-17. I renovated it, I got acquainted with the neighborhood, and I realized that we were severely underrepresented at City Hall. And that's when I decided in 2019 to begin advocating for inclusion of our island, Parkview, in the North Beach CRA that was yet to be confirmed. So I began my advocacy through with a group of residents in North Beach, and soon after we had a huge sewer mains break in North Beach that released over 1.2 million gallons of raw sewer into our canals and waterways on Biscayne Bay. And that's when I said, enough is enough. I'm forming the Sustainable Neighborhood Association, and it ended up being the first Sustainable Neighborhood Association in the history of this city. So over the past 5 years, I'm proud to say I'm the only candidate on this stage today that has already brought over $8 million in direct community benefits to my community through my advocacy. And some of those projects I've started alongside or participated in launching alongside some of the commissioners currently sitting up on this stage, such as Alex Fernandez. We launched Operation Clean Water earlier this year, and that's making huge strides. Laura Dominguez has also sponsored some of our proposals that I've made to City Hall over the years. Why am I running for commission? Because I'm fed up of inaction and negligence. I want to work for the community. I want to work for the residents. I am not funded by any special interest lobbies. I'm an NPA, so I'm not part of any party. I'm independent, and I always have been independent. It's very important to me that at municipal level, at local level, we don't really, adhere to party lines. We adhere to the community's needs and to the residents' needs. And that's why I'm very strongly opposed to being part of a party system when you're running a nonpartisan race. I'm also not funded by special PACs, interest lobbies, or developers. I've been funding my campaign with my own money and small donations from residents all the way through today. Let's see. Which current commissioner of the Miami Beach Commission do I most identify with? I identify with all of them in a way because I've worked with all of them over the last number of years, including Mayor Minor, as I said, some of the commissioners on this stage, and some of them that are not here today. We've worked on numerous amounts of items together over the years, such as infrastructure upgrades. Infrastructure upgrades are severely underfunded in our city, and we need to get better at funding the things that we can't see or touch. We're great at doing parks and beautifying our neighborhoods, but we're not so good at the important stuff that is underneath us. And that's why just 2 weeks ago, we had another huge sewer main break in North Beach, 16-inch sewer main break that broke midday or at 2 p.m. and it was still going at 10 p.m. And myself and Commissioner Fernandez were on site. I was the only candidate to be on site at around 10 p.m. And we were speaking directly with the Public Works Director. And I'm here to resolve our issues and work on the serious problems that we have here in Miami Beach. I'm always going to be working for the residents. And that is just one of the examples as to how I will be a great commissioner when you elect me in November. Because I'm not part of any party lines. I'm not going to be repaying favors to any special interests or lobbies, and I'm not funded by PACs. So when I'm standing on this stage, and I've gone through the grueling process over the last number of months to be this city's next commissioner, it's because I know that I can help. And what I have done over the last number of years is something that I really want to continue, not for me, but for all of us, because I am your community candidate. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Monica Mateo Salinas, and I've been a resident of Miami Beach for 16 years. I have been very involved in my community, and it started with my children and their PTA at school. My children attended South Point Elementary, and I got involved with the PTA and I became advocacy chair. And then when they moved on to middle school, they attended Nautilus Middle School, and I was elected Nautilus Middle School PTA president. And then when they moved on to Beach High, they were like, okay, Mom, enough. We get it, you're involved, please, can we be, teenagers? And I said, sure, I'm gonna run for commission. And that's what I'm doing this year. I want you to know that I have a bachelor's degree in public policy from Michigan State University. I took a high school trip to Washington, D.C., and as soon as I hit Capitol Hill, I looked around and I said, this is what I want to be when I grow up. I didn't know what that was at the time, but over time I realized that I'm a government nerd. I like to know how things work, I like to figure things out, I like to help people, and I like to get results. And that's ultimately why I'm running. I want to help people on a macro level, making hard decisions on the commission, and on a micro level, helping our everyday quality of life issues that affect you and me every single day in every single neighborhood in Miami Beach. That's why I'm running. Additionally, I have served on boards and committees. I served on the board of Miami Beach United for a year in 2020. You might remember Miami Beach United, they're a resident-wide organization. I also served on the Commission for Women. I was appointed by the late Commissioner Mark Samuel in 2019. May he rest in peace. I also served on the Committee for Quality Education. I was appointed by the South Point Elementary PTA. And additionally, I worked for 2 different commissioners. I worked for Commissioner Krista Rosen-Gonzalez and Commissioner Alex Fernandez as his legislative aide. I've written legislation, I've read legislation, I've attended commission meetings, budget meetings, land use meetings, finance meetings, budget hearings, neighborhood meetings, you name it, I've done it, and I've loved every single moment of it. And now I'm ready to be your next commissioner. I would really hope that I earn your vote tonight. I've been endorsed by the Miami Herald. I've been endorsed by Commissioner Tanya Bott. I've been endorsed by So Be Safe. And I've been endorsed by the CWA Local 3178. All of these organizations know me and they trust me, and I hope you will get to know me and trust me too. Let me answer your questions. Thank you. Oh no, it's okay, you can clap. Thank you. So the primary reason I'm seeking to be elected commissioner and what experience do I have? Again, I'm running to help people. I truly, it was a joy working as a legislative aide, and it was a joy helping people with their everyday problems. Nobody really had complaints, they all had suggestions. Everyone has a suggestion, and that's how we get better.
I think the only question you really haven't already answered is the top 3 reasons you think people come to the beach.
Okay. Actually, Ray, I also didn't answer which current commissioner in the city went.
Yeah, I know, I didn't think you want to answer that question.
Oh, I don't mind. Thanks, right? Correct. I echo what everyone said. I'm going to be an independent voice. I'm running to represent my community and represent what you tell me, what the residents tell me. I'm not running to be anyone's puppet or anyone's, plant or lackey. No. I'm running to be independent. That's the commissioner I will be. I encourage you to reach out. I'm here to listen. I'm here to help. I will say one thing though. I worked for Alex Fernandez for 2 years, and I know him the best because we worked 40 plus hours a week together for 2 years. And again, I loved every minute of it. And other than our lovely beach, tell us the top 3 reasons you feel people visit or choose to live on Miami Beach. Man, only 3? It's great here. I have to say the number 1 reason why we all love living here is because we love our neighbors. It's great because at any point in time you can go to Publix, any Publix, and you can probably run into a neighbor or someone that you know, or oh, my kids went to school with your kids, or oh, you remember me from that event back in 1999? I mean, so many people say, oh, I remember you. I mean, we are such a hometown community, and that's what makes us special, and that's what makes us magical, and that's what makes us great. And people love the weather, and they love the architecture is beautiful. We have great cultural arts in our community too, but it's really the people. It's really you. Thank you.
So we move right on to group 2, and we start right off with the current commissioner, Laura Dominguez.
Thank you, Ray, and thank you to the College Park Neighborhood Association for coming out to learn more about all of the candidates. Really appreciate that. I'm Laura Dominguez. I'm your Miami Beach Commissioner in Group 2, and I am seeking re-election because there is still a lot to do. I've been a commissioner for the last 3 years, and one of the main things that I see that's important for our city and our future is our resiliency projects. I've been very focused on that and worked closely with the capital improvement projects. We had a jail bond back in 2018, and we need to make sure that those projects are scheduled, funded, and executed. Some of the underground pipes, sewer pipes, storm drains throughout our city are 50 and 60 years old. And in order to combat climate change, we need to stay on top of it and make sure that the projects are done. Another important factor is public safety. And I'm honored to chair the Public Safety and Neighborhood Quality of Life Committee. I was on the commission that curbed the spring break chaos. If you recall, we had stampedes, shootings, things that shouldn't be happening in our iconic, beautiful beach. And we've changed those things. The last 2 years have been phenomenal for us. And moving forward, we need to work on bringing and doing more marketing so that we get the right clients that are coming to enjoy our restaurants and businesses and hotels, and our city will continue to thrive. Constituent services is also a plus for me. I am always accessible, available, I show up, and I get the job done. For me, that's very important. I'm looking at the different faces in the audience, and I know so many of you. I consider you not just constituents, but my friends as well. This is such a special neighborhood. It's the arts and culture hub, and that's why I will answer the 3 questions now. The 3 reasons people come to Miami Beach besides the beach. Arts and culture. The last few years, we've really invested in making this the gem that it is. Imagine when you put a bond out, the residents have to vote for it, 60% and over for it to pass. And we put an arts and culture bond, this was before I was elected, but in 2022, for $164 million to help all of our cultural anchors, and guess what? It passed with 64%. So the community wants it. It's been an important impact. It draws in tourism, and our residents enjoy going to all of the gorgeous institutions that we've got. So it's something very important to keep. I am a very resident-focused commissioner. I have an excellent relationship with every neighborhood association from south of 5th all the way up to the 80s in Miami Beach. And that didn't change with me being on the campaign trail. I went out and have been knocking on doors, and I qualified by petition. So I turned in almost 2,000 signatures of residents who believed that I should have a second term. That meant so much to me. And I've also received various endorsements of course, the most important vote is yours, and that's something that I hope to earn from you tonight. But I have been endorsed by the Miami Herald, So Be Safe, most of the labor organizations, and a few other institutions that feel that I will be great in my second term. So thank you for your time. Did I miss any of the questions?
The questions were, a lot of them were not for you because you're already in.
Okay, so our three things, arts and culture was one. Second is walkability. How many places can you live without a car? And it actually can happen in Miami Beach. Things are close by. You can walk to places. There's a free trolley, so that's very important. And then our lifestyle is the third reason people come here. Some folks earlier mentioned that health and wellness. We're trying to become an official blue zone city. So that should be coming in the next couple of years, and that's pretty exciting. Our nightlife is not what it used to be, thank goodness, because we've grown, but we still have beautiful restaurants and hot spots that people come and enjoy. So between the walkability, the arts and culture, and our lifestyle, those are three reasons people come to Miami Beach. Thank you for your time. Look forward to talking to you throughout the evening.
Who is running against Laura for the Group 2C.
Hi, I'm Fred Carlton. I'm going to use a little bit of a cheat sheet tonight because I'm not a public speaker and I'm not a politician, so I hope you don't mind. I wrote a few things down. So I grew up here in Miami Beach. I lived here for 60 years. As a kid, I rode my bicycle all over Miami Beach, spent many hours in this very, very neighborhood. I ate Wolfies, played ball all around here. College Park was very much a part of my life. So I've seen projects now on the books here, where people ask why I'm running. You know, I've seen projects on the books here for 10 years, 20 years. We talk about infrastructure, and I listen to the candidates talk about infrastructure. And nothing's done. We pulled GO bonds 6 years later, 7 years later, nothing's done. 20 years, I'm looking at infrastructure projects that are not done. Our neighborhoods are flooding in a lot of different areas. And we're destroying our quality of life here. You know, we're supposed to be a city for residents with a strong base of culture and tourism. And what we've become is a city of special interests, high-rise developments, crumbling infrastructure, flooding, traffic, and that doesn't lead to quality of life. I guess the bottom line is I'm running because of the definition of insanity. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. Things that don't work and expecting a different result. So what do I bring? I bring 33 years of business experience. I want everybody to know here because there's some false narratives going on around about me. I am not a developer. I've never developed a high-rise in my life. So, but, you know, these are the types of things that what I do bring is I bring 33 years of business experience in moving projects. So I'm in the real estate investment business. I buy projects that are already built. And so I have a lot of experience in infrastructure and all the things that go along with fixing streets and things like that. And work with DOT many times. So one of the things that has to happen at City Hall is we need to learn how to move our projects. Because, for example, if you take the new Bayshore Park that we just opened up, that took 11 years to do and was on the table, I think, for about 15 years or so. And so a project that took $8 million to do cost the taxpayers $42 million. And then we go and we pull a GO bond in 2018 or 2017 for North Shore Park for a new garage and swimming, Olympic swimming pool area. That was a $53 million pull. Now it's somewhere between $100 and $110 million. It's never even gotten out of the ground. So we have a lot of wasted money that we could be using, you know, for our community. In fact, we could be using them for arts and culture, the things that we need in our community that is very important, and gives our community identity. I'm self-funded. I'm not in anyone's pocket. And it doesn't mean that I'm not open and available to everyone, as has been suggested. It means that I'm more open and available to everyone because nobody owns me. I'm doing this for free. I'm donating 100% of my salary and even my pension in perpetuity to underprivileged children in our community. I'm not taking a dime. Not even their plane ticket to Basel, Switzerland. I'll buy my own, thank you very much. I'm doing this, I'm not a politician. I don't seek endorsements. It's true that my opponent has all the endorsements. She has all the endorsements from the unions who take 70% of every one of your tax dollars. I'm not interested in those types of endorsements. The only endorsement that I'm looking for is the voters. I can promise you this. I bring a different skill set to this commission. And it's a skill set that moves the needle. So if you're looking for somebody who's donating their time, and by the way, I raised 4 children in this community, and all 4 of my children were born here. So Miami Beach has a different kind of special to me, because I've been here the longest by far. But if you're looking for somebody who's going to represent you, okay, I'm not voting for high-rise developments. I'm not voting for FAR increases. We need to fix our infrastructure, and we have to have quality of life. And I'm a quality of life candidate. In terms of who I identify with on the commission,
We already know.
okay, no. I don't identify with anybody on the commission. Okay, everybody on the commission, okay, has a different skill, and I'm good with all of them. I chose to vote against my opponent because I donated to her campaign, and she disappointed me with all of the votes for all the high rises that she did. So that's why I chose to run against her. But there's nobody that I identify with in particular. I'm nobody's shill. Anybody that knows me will tell you that I think for myself. I'm very independent. In terms of quality of life, would you like me to?
1 minute.
Okay. I mean, there's so many different reasons why people want to come to Miami Beach, but certainly livability is one. It's an easy place to get around when it's not peak traffic, obviously. We have a lot of, we have beaches, we have arts and culture, we have great neighborhoods. It's a great place to raise a family. There's a lot of schools around, so there's just a lot of different reasons that people want to come to Miami Beach. Any other questions?
No, I just,
All right. And anyway, thank you very much for your time. I very much appreciate it.
Mayor Minor has joined us, and before we go to group 2, I just give Stephen an opportunity to say something. I know you didn't just come to see me.
As the mayor, you always have to be prepared to speak, but I gotta tell you, tonight I did not think I was gonna be speaking, so I appreciate that. First of all, I want to give a shout out to everyone here. It is not easy to run for office. You get all the flyers and all that, and all the text messages. It's very difficult to put yourself out like this, so I think everybody here, whether you're voting for them, not voting for them, deserves a level of credit that they put themselves out on the line, put their personal and their family out on the line. I'm very proud of our city. There's always improvements to make, and that's part of the beauty of elections, right? You get to see, but this is a gem of a neighborhood. You have great leadership in this neighborhood, in Ray and the board. And that's important because you probably see my posts and things like that we're in the right direction. Major crime is down 19%. Our homeless numbers are at record lows. But that doesn't mean it's not that there's not more to do. There's a lot more to do, and that's part of this process that we're all trying to accomplish. But you have good leadership here, because when there's issues in this neighborhood, College Park, you let us know. And this is the gem of a neighborhood. It's the arts and culture hub of our city, which we are expanding in a big way, and we're looking forward to continue doing that. So thank you for being here, and God bless you all.
Thank you. Yes, I'm lovingly referred to as the mayor of Collins Park. I've had every commissioner and every mayor in my phone for the last 20 years. I've had many people say to me, why didn't you run for commission? Why would I? Would I want to go through what they're going through? No. But if I need something, I am able to get it done. And I appreciate you saying that, Stephen.
That is true. That is true.
Okay, let's move on to group 3. 2. 1, 2, 3. Alex Fernandez, the current commissioner.
Thank you, Frank, and thank you for sending us some questions in advance. I usually run out of time when they only give us 1 minute or 2 minutes, and the mayor knows because whenever I speak at commission, they always remind me to be more succinct, not to speak so long. So thank you for giving me 5 minutes today. One of your questions is one of my favorite questions, which is, why do people decide to come to Miami Beach? And, it's the most beautiful thing about Miami Beach. It's the people of our city. You walk around our city, you hear different languages. You see people from all different parts of the world. You see a thriving Hispanic community. You see a thriving Jewish community. You have a large LGBTQ community. It is the beauty of our diversity and the beauty of the people of Miami Beach that makes it one of the greatest communities. It's also the pedestrianism of our community. There's no other area in all of South Florida that you can wake up from your home, whether you live in a single-family residential neighborhood or a condominium, that you can just walk out of your home, walk to a beautiful beach walk, be along the beach, watch the sunrise in the morning on the beach, and watch the sunset at night on the bay. We truly live in paradise, and that really sets us apart from any other coastal destination. It's also us being a hub for arts, for culture, for beautiful Art Deco architecture. Miami Beach would be any other coastal city in the state of Florida if it were not for our beautiful architecture that we have fought so hard to save over the past few years from state preemption. And it's part of the reason why I humbly ask for your support to continue fighting for the city of Miami Beach. We have inherited a treasure. Part of that treasure is this beautiful architecture. I've been proud to be part of this commission that has stood up against threats of preemption when they wanted to pass laws that threatened our 800 Art Deco buildings, the largest collection of Art Deco buildings in the United States. We stood up and we stood up firm, and we were able to save our architectural heritage from the threats of preemption. When they came in and they came with threats of bringing in large towers into our community through Live Local, we weren't able to completely win the fight, but we were able to win protections for our architectural design. We were able to get protections for our facades. And those are fights that were worth fighting. I love serving as a city commissioner because just this morning, I had the privilege of being on the phone with our county leaders speaking about the issue of sargassum. And today they had a big item before the county commission on the contract to clean sargassum on our bay. And fortunately, that item passed to the benefit of the city of Miami Beach. And when we say to the benefit of the city of Miami Beach, it's not only to our quality of life, but it's to us as a destination, to us as a tourism-driven economy, that we need to make sure that our beaches are clean, that our beaches are welcoming, that our beaches are healthy for us and for everyone. I'm so honored to serve as your city commissioner. I put my heart and soul into it. I'm so proud to be doing this alongside my partner, Robert, who for 19 years we've called Miami Beach home. This is our home. This is our community. It's where I want to live for the rest of my life. There's so much more work to be done. The mayor spoke about homelessness. That was a big focus over the past 4 years. We've addressed issues having to do with spring break, but clearly we need to keep on working on issues of affordability. We see how critical the affordability issue is when even publicly subsidized projects like the Anamar are anything but affordable. And one of the greatest pathways to be able to get more affordability in our community is unlocking the over 5,000 residential units that we have today in Miami Beach that are being used as short-term rentals. I am committed to leading a fight during my second term in office, if you give me the honor of serving as your commissioner, to lead that fight, to unlock those 5,000 units and to make sure that they become available again for the workforce of our community, so that our nurses, our teachers, the employees of this city don't have to drive to Kendall, don't have to drive to Hialeah or to Broward to live. They should be able to, oh, well, I ran out of time. I told you I was going to run out of time. Our infrastructure projects, we've delivered on a number of critical infrastructure, or we've been able to advance forward on a number of critical infrastructure projects. We've been able to start West Avenue phase 1 and 2. We're moving forward with First Street. We're moving forward with North Shore. But there are so many other projects that we need to advance on. Our infrastructure is critical, and you have my commitment over the next 4 years to continue helping advance those projects. Traffic is another issue, and we know that in order to address traffic, not only do we need to get our workforce to live in our city so that they don't have to be commuting across the bay and congesting our streets, but we also need to facilitate micromobility. We need to facilitate alternate modes of transportation. So I want to see the multimodal corridor on Collins Avenue move forward, because that will allow residents to get from north to south on safe off of the roads. We need to work on advancing the new path east of the beach walk, which a number of my colleagues, including Mayor Meyer, have been working on, to make sure that we ease the congestion on the beach walk. And we need to make sure, most above all else, that we continue pushing back against overdevelopment. And that doesn't mean being completely against development. It's standing for smart development, the right development. And that's why, just how over my first 4 years, I pushed against the project that was proposed at the community health center site, and no tower was built there. And I pushed against the height increase in the FAR that was proposed at the edge of our Flamingo Park neighborhood district. And I vehemently opposed the Clevelander project on Ocean Drive. I'll continue pushing against bad, irresponsible overdevelopment projects so that we can support development that is contextual and that supports the needs of our community. Thank you for the opportunity
Now we have Luigi Mary.
Problems and solutions. All right. My opponent has supported a $1 billion budget without any actual accountability, without any transparency. Solution. I propose that, in fact, that we have an independent audit of every tax, dollar, cent, sixpence. Now leave with the kings. Development and impact fees. Commissioner Fernandez respectfully gave incentives without restoring impact fees and has allowed projects that strain infrastructure to be built on an aging infrastructure. What we need to do is realize that we have to make a hard choice and decision. The choice is, are you happy with the direction and the pace and the trajectory of the city of Miami Beach?
If you are, vote for the established candidates. I am not an established candidate. I'm the only working class candidate in this race. I work as a butler / concierge in Bal Harbour, assisting many families within our Orthodox Jewish community each and every weekend and high holiday. The reason I say that is to dispel any false narratives that may be out there. The African American community has long received the support of the Jewish community. You can even look back at the Dr. Martin Luther King speech, which actually was written by a Jewish American. Now, when we think of our lived experience, the lived experience, day-to-day experience, I'm the only candidate here on this stage that actually lives and practices what I preach with a green lifestyle. I'm the only candidate that believes that it is a waste of paper to spend money on reams of high gloss paper that's going to be looked at for 8 seconds and thrown away. I think it's disrespectful to the environment, and I don't think it's a sound expenditure. What we need to do is we need somebody who is not scared of anyone, anything, or any entity. I don't fear anyone. When you experience moments in your life where you truly are facing death, after that fear's out the window. You become desensitized. So that's why I'm not scared of anyone, anything. I'm the only candidate that has survived homelessness. I'm the only candidate probably can recognize 2 members of our homeless community in here. We don't point them out, but thank you for being here as well. And the reason that I'm giving you such a bold and stark choice, like a splash of cold water in the face of the voters, is because it's time to wake up. It's time to wake up. We cannot remain complacent. We cannot remain somnolent. Sometimes you have to get in and do the surgery. Sometimes a knee brace is not enough. Icy hot is not enough. Man, you need a knee replacement. And that's what this city needs. We need someone who is not scared to get in there and do the work with laser-like precision. I am running here to represent you. I will not, cannot, and have not been bought out by the establishment or any associates thereof. That is a fact, full stop. When I first was appointed by Commissioner Joe Magazine to serve on the Black Affairs Advisory Committee, that selection occurred for a reason, and I served as a peacemaker on that committee, which was highly divisive, highly polarized, and Commissioner Tanya Bott would be able to attest to that, but of course she's not here. She's doing great work elsewhere. Now, the reason I talk about being a peacemaker is because this campaign has been feisty, and people are concerned about, will this new commission, should I be a member of it? How will we coalesce? So, I have already pledged at the forum that we had at the ADNA, the Art Deco Neighborhood Association, I've already pledged to work with Commissioner Fernandez, should I be elected, should he continue to remain here or move on elsewhere to bigger, better things. The reason why is because he is not my enemy. We simply have a stark difference of opinions on how to best guide the city forward. We say that all the time. The divisiveness comes from the appetites. So I've already made that pledge because I don't believe that you should throw out the baby with the bathwater just because you don't agree. Let's look at the 75%, the 2/3, the 66%, where we agree. Let's knock out and check those boxes because there are certain things that we are all in agreement on. The difference is the accountability, the transparency, and the lingering elephant in the room of alleged corruption in our city. We were only able to shave off $11 million off of $987 million. Is that correct? That's less than 2 shavings of a truffle. That's nothing. It'll melt on the fifth sheet. So again, it's symbolic, and I'm here to give you real results. Immediate action on day one. I am not here to give you fluff. I am here to give you cold water to wake you up and say this city is going down due to managed decline. We need to stop, recalibrate, reassess, and move forward and work together. That is the choice. Are you happy with the state of the city, your lived experience? Are you happy now? Are you happier now than you were 4 years ago? Actually, my opponent had another 100 seconds. I was talking time. And it is on tape. Valerie, it's on tape. So I will claim that time. Thank you. So again, I am claiming my time. You can review the tape. Valerie can confirm. Thank you. So in any case, the reason that I do that, and I'd say that partly in jest, but actually not really, because I'm a constitutionalist, and as a black man in America, I have to fight for every millimeter, every cent, or sixpence. Every single thing I have to do, I have to fight for tooth and nail. So I don't have sympathy for people who are lazy. No. If I can fight through it, you can fight through it. I'm the only commissioner candidate that has actually survived the level of hardships that I've had to survive to get here. So I come here resolute. Resolute. So again, the choice is clear. You can either choose the establishment candidate, or you can choose something fresh and new that is going to give you a robust change. Just like a strong cup of coffee. When you smell it, you smell that bean, you're like, robust. That's what I'm talking about. And I thank you so much for allowing me to reclaim my time. It was a point of the constitutionality, because I am a constitutionalist. Yes. Thank you.
Number one, have you been on any other committee besides the Black Affairs Committee?
To answer Mr. President's question, no, I was not. The only committee that I was on, I was appointed by Commissioner Joseph Magazine to the Black Affairs Advisory Committee. And I served from 2024 to 2025 as a peacemaker on that committee.
And also, since you said you don't really believe in flyers to households, how many doors have you knocked on?
Great question. Thank you, Ray. I have probably knocked on the least amount of doors. The reason why? I have to work the hardest for my money. I gotta wake up in the morning, I gotta catch the Collins Express. If the Collins Express is not there, I get a Mid Beach and I'll do a City Bike Conco. I gotta get there fast. Okay? So I have to do what I have to do to get to work. When I'm getting out of work, I gotta go to Publix. I gotta find out what's the deal. Buy one, get one free. That's what it is. Agree. And that's what it is. So again, yes, I have knocked on the least amount of doors in my own campaign, but I've knocked on many doors when I was assisting and campaigning for Commissioner Joe Magazine. I probably knocked on more doors for Joe's Magazine than I did for myself.
Thank you. Okay, now this is a hand, right? Everybody gets to raise their hand for this question. How many of you have actually sat in a commission meeting from when it started, to the subject hour, to the very last minute, in the commission chambers? Okay. I commend you, because as much of an activist as I am, I have never done that. Now, back there, for those of you who didn't hear me before, there's paper and pen. You can write questions for specific commission candidates. I got one question that was given to me for Stephen Miner. He is not up here today, so that question doesn't get asked. It is actually for the people that are running for commission. So does anybody have any specific questions? Any of the cultural institutions have something that they wanted to ask? Oh, come on, somebody must have a question.
We need some funds. Is that right?
Okay. Yeah, you don't want to go more, I can come up here. But if I don't like your question, I cut you off.
Well, there's a general decline in retail due to online sales and delivery services. You see all these little robots wandering around. How do you want to address that? Everybody wants to bring back. Everybody wants to bring back 41st Street and Washington Avenue, but I think retail is sick all over the world, or at least in the country.
Thank you, Amazon.
So that's my question.
To who? We can't use the same committee.
Mr. Venice.
So actually, that's really important to me because as a small business owner, not only of Bella Cuba, but also I used to operate a walking food tour company in South Beach, and we used to arrive at Lincoln Road at 11 a.m. and all the businesses were full at that point, just a few years ago. Books and Books was thriving on Lincoln Road, and today Lincoln Road is a shell of what it once used to be. I think that marketing is a big part of what we're not doing so great right now. We need to market our business, our city, a lot more like a business, so that we can improve. Because we've been alienating a lot of the people, not only from the county, but we've also lost a lot of the international tourists that used to come here during the winter time. Last year, we lost about 70% of our Canadian tourists. And so that's a big problem for small businesses like mine and a lot of the other businesses that have been struggling here in Miami Beach. But also we need to get better at the permitting process, because permits will take way too long here on the beach. It takes between 12 to 18 months for a business to open. And just a few weeks ago, a business owner in North Beach called me and said, Omar, we have this, well, I know them, and they have this small family business that they've been running for about 15 years there in North Beach. And they've been trying to expand next door, and they applied for permits about 12 months ago. They've been paying a lease, full-time lease to the landlord, and they're going bankrupt. They're losing all of the money that they saved over the last 10 years. And I almost shed a tear for them because I know exactly how that feels. So that's why we're losing a lot of business in Miami Beach. We need to become more accessible, and we need to market our city in the right way so that more legacy businesses come back to Miami Beach.
Right.
I just want to add one thing about the Canadians. 44% difference in our dollar right now. That's a big, big problem.
So I want to say that, sort of answer your question to Ab, is back in 2010, the city used to offer a small business class, and it was a free class for folks who want to open a small business on Miami Beach. I know this because I took that class back in 2010. I wanted to open an ice cream shop. And basically what it did was it spelled out for small businesses, such as this example that Mr. Jimenez gave. The first week you learned about code compliance issues. How big did your sign have to be? What are the dimensions? What are the colors? How do you get through the code red tape? The second week was connecting you to the county. If you had a restaurant, what permits from the county do you need? Grease trap, all that. Third week was, I don't even remember what it was, but I have the agenda still at home. And I remember the fourth week, you were assigned someone in the economic development department who would hold your hand through the process until you got your permits and squared away and your business open. And we need to bring that back.
Well, I got something, an email today of something that's happening. I nixed it because I'm not a small business looking to open. But there was something opening up maybe next week or something at City Hall. I didn't know.
So the city recently hired a new economic development director, and he's really fantastic, and he's looking at doing small business grants, and he's looked at the ways that our city has changed. During COVID, so much changed to online, obviously, and people got comfortable, and ordering things have become more convenient than going into a store. So stores aren't going away, but we do have incentives to help those small businesses succeed, and I'm really excited about our new director.
I have a few comments. So number one, I
I don't think it's really fair for Miami Beachers to have to pay for parking or public transportation just to do regular, everyday activities. You asked why are our businesses suffering. I think part of it is because it's really an expense that we have to incur just to go do one little errand, so it becomes easier.
There's free trolleys,
Yes,
there's
but
bicycles, there's
Okay.
my 2 feet. I don't own a car, so.
that's fair. But if you have, for those that do drive, which are plenty in Miami Beach, it is expensive. And I've even heard from residents who say that they have to pay for parking to go visit a friend that lives in Miami Beach. That we talk about how Miami Beach is a small community, but that's not really
What
like
community do you know that you don't pay for parking?
plenty.
No, I'm talking about in the Miami area.
That's a great question. All of the very expensive homes on Alton Road, you do not have to pay for parking in front of them.
Because there's no businesses there.
Okay,
And
and
you
what
have to-
about the
in
residential
areas,
area,
you don't have-
1 block south of Lincoln Road?
That's a commercial area.
But you said, do you understand what I mean?
But there's
And then-
free transport. Okay. but-
Okay, second thing, I also think that Miami Beach has an opportunity with technology to create a local spending program where we incentivize locals to spend money inside of Miami Beach. A lot of other places in Miami, Design District, Brickell, Wynwood, Coconut Grove, they were so inspired by Miami Beach's success that they decided to get really creative and innovate, and now a lot of Miami Beachers choose to go spend their money over there. I think that if we created a local spending program where you just simply connect your credit card and it tracks how much you spend, and then as you spend more, you get little points, and then you can, it like makes it fun to spend.
Who do you
in
think
Miami
should be
Beach.
running that program? The city?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not? We have $1 billion budget, we just did an $11 million refund.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, as speaking of the $11 million refund, I'd like to know from each one of you, do you feel that that was the right thing to do, or should we have kept the $11 million to work on infrastructure?
I think we should have kept it.
Keep it or give it back? Give it back. Keep it.
I'm gonna say keep it because we only gave it back to homestead property owners. Didn't you tell me that?
No, we're gonna be deciding that on the 29th.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I think it's an ongoing conversation. It's an item that's going to come up at the next city commission, so I don't have an answer right now.
Okay. Okay. Oh, you can. Oh, that's right. Very good.
I think that giving $150 back is $700.
700.
I thought it was 140, but you say 700.
What's right?
Even $700, I think that the city.
In terms of the refund, I would take time to review, but my initial instinct was probably to keep it because, again, it's half a shaving of truffle. It's almost an insult. So, I mean, we may as well do it properly and get the true ration. Now, in terms of the business, may I answer that, Rick? Okay, briefly. Thank you. A few seconds here.
Right there.
Yeah, right here. Absolutely. So, in terms of the business and the declining of businesses, I think it's absolute hogwash. We are the city of Miami Beach, the #1 tourist destination in the United States of America, and you want, ma'am, you can try to fact check, but that is correct, including Hawaii. Aloha to anyone. So now, as I was saying, we are the #1 tourist destination in the United States of America, especially after the influx of COVID, and that's also further evidenced by the addition of 2 congressional seats statewide. Okay?
Why aren't you not working in Miami Beach yourself?
I'm working. Okay, the reason I'm not working in Miami Beach is because I'm employed by St. Regis in Bal Harbor. It is located 9703, and I'm on College Avenue. And the reason I work there is because I do have a lot of relationships there with our Jewish community. I do assist as a personal concierge and butler with many of the high holidays and Shabbat and everything else. I can elaborate further if needed. So so I do have some friendships there. So now, in terms of the businesses, we should not have to pay anything. It is an insult to the taxpayers and to the city at large that we should pay anything. People should be begging for the opportunity to do business within the city of Miami Beach. Thank you, sir.
Sir, what's your name? Martin. Martin? So Martin, why do you think the reason is that people go shopping?
Pleasure, need.
I'll help you.
Well, no,
It's
they
an
go
activity.
shopping to.
It's an activity. It gets you out of your home.
No, I think they go shopping to see the products.
Well, they see products, they get out of their home, housebound. So the retail business is not really dead here, okay? It's sort of on hold. But a few things have to happen. First is that we need to have a community standard here for storefronts. Washington Avenue, for example, is filthy, okay? And until you establish a community standard and you tell people, hey, listen, you have to have a certain amount of paint, you have to paint your building, you have to keep your sidewalks clean, so on and so forth. The image is terrible. Then something that was alluded to before is correct. The permit process here is broken. It's been broken here for a very, very, very long time. For example, you go to get an electrical permit, after you get it stamped, it goes to an arborist. Okay, what the arborist knows about electricity, I have no idea. Okay, the third thing is that you have to have people come in who actually have done this before. People like Craig Robbins who have connections. If you're not going to get high-end retail here without connections, I can tell you that I'm in the retail business, so I know this very, very, very well. Okay, if you want to go to somebody like Louis Vuitton, okay, or other high-end shops, you have to have those connections. So you bring people in who have done it, like in the design center. Everybody here, or maybe people here remember what the design center was like. It was downtrodden, it was terrible, it was crime-ridden. Now what is the design district? Design district is the way it is because Craig Robbins and Jackie Sofer, okay, who owns the Aventura Mall, brought all these tenants in. And they alleviated the stress of getting permits and opening buildings. But it's got to start with a clean neighborhood. If you don't have a clean neighborhood, nobody's coming here.
Well, and I will say one thing, if anybody's ever been to Amsterdam, those shop owners are out there every single day washing their windows to the street in front of them, whatever. It's the shop owners that make their area clean. So, it depends how you do this.
Could I just answer that question too, right? Because I think there's something to.
I'm sorry.
So this is such an important issue because economic revitalization is one of the issues I really want to focus on or continue focusing on in my second term. We have standards and code enforcement goes and issues violations, and then you have slumlord. Literally, we have slumlord property owners that collect violations, and that's one of the challenges that you have. You see the design district. Why is the design district so beautiful? Why do you have the caliber of stores in the design district? Why do you have unified ownership? You have unified ownership that maintains a certain standard, and it's a private entity that goes there, that cleans it, that paints it. So having the private sector cooperation is very important. We need to do more as a government to foster that private sector collaboration.
Which is what the design district has.
The other part of what I believe we need to do, and it was mentioned earlier as well, permitting. Permitting is a mess. And when you look at some of these storefronts, they're not big spaces. 1,000 square feet, 2,000 square feet, maybe some might be up to 3,000 square feet. They might be doing some interior remodeling, but they get drawn into this horrible bureaucratic process. We should have a walk-through permit process for small retailers, like you do for homes. That you go in, you sit down with each one of the trades, and you don't need to be waiting for 3 weeks for some guy to get your permit from the bottom of the list to review it. No, You should be, if it's a small project that's 10, 12, maybe 15 sheets of plans that you go in, you walk it through, and you can walk out with the permit. One of the other things, two other things that I believe are important, and then I'll pass it back to you, is fees. A lot of businesses go out of business before they even open their doors. And so one of the things that we're doing is we're working on legislation to waive concurrency and mobility fees to make it more affordable for businesses in certain commercial corridors to be able to open up. And lastly, who here remembers the Van Dykes? Did we all love the Van Dykes? You know that if the Van Dykes wanted to reopen today in the city of Miami Beach, they would not be allowed to open up as of right. So we need to identify certain commercial corridors, like Lincoln, like Washington Avenue, where we go back and we look at some of these regulations that we have adopted year after year after year, and decades upon decades of regulations, go back and cut some of these regulations to the point where we can then allow a beloved establishment like Van Dykes to be able to open up without being stuck for years before the planning board and the whole bureaucratic process.
Ray, could I add to that, please?
Right.
I'd like to just add one thing.
Very quickly, please. Because otherwise we'll never get other questions.
Look, the city doesn't own buildings, but they shape the rules. And what we have to do in these areas is we have to blend commerce, we have to blend experience and culture. And what the problem that we're talking about, that Alex is alluding to, is there's a lack of vision here. We need to be able to say that on certain streets, we're going to make this a food and culture street, where we're going to have cafes that also have vinyl record stores, or cafes with bookshops, or cafes with flower shops. And then we need to go through every vertical: health and wellness, technology, AR, augmented reality, so you can actually try things on using technology. And we need to be the best damn shopping district in every one of these commercial corridors, and each commercial corridor has to be different. But if nobody comes up with the plan or has a vision for it, yeah, of course you can blame government day in and day out and say that it's just the private sector's fault. I think we can do way better. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi there. This question is for Alex.
Yes.
You had mentioned how expensive housing was here, and you particularly mentioned the Anamar. So how would you address that?
Is that microphone working over here? It is?
So I tried to get involved in making the cost of housing in the Anamar a little bit more affordable. For example, we tried to look at creative solutions such as, well, what if we get the insurance policy? Insurance tends to be a big ticket item. We take it out of the hands of the entity that was managing it and putting it under the city's insurance. We thought, the city buys a lot of insurance. You would think it would be cheaper, and we could perhaps create a cost savings that would trickle down to a couple $100 per property owner. And then when we pulled the numbers, it ends up that the city's insurance would actually be more expensive than the entity. I think the reality is we have housing inventory in our city. We have over 5,000 housing units that are being misused against the interests of our community. Because instead of it being available for our residents, and instead of that housing being available for our workforce, they're being misused as hotel units, where neighbors don't want this in and out and revolving door of tourists. And it creates a domino effect in our economy. Because now you have a short-term rental unit in a building where neighbors don't want it. Those are people that are staying in a neighborhood and not staying in a hotel. And it has a domino effect on the older historic hotels that now are losing occupancy because people are going into where they don't belong, which is in the residential neighborhoods. We need to protect the character of our residential neighborhoods. We need to fight to change and work with legislators to change that state law, to put tourism back where it belongs, which is in the tourism districts, so that we can best preserve our residential neighborhoods. The moment we unlock those 5,000 units back for full-time residency, that will be a change in market conditions that will help improve and make housing more affordable for our workforce.
Hi, I'm Lynette Long. I live in South Beach. Everybody knows me. First, we are not #1 tourist destination in the United States. New York City is. But I want to make two comments and then you can respond. Number one is, in investment and in finance, there are sharks and we are whales. Miami Beach is a whale. When you see these bids come in for work here, my head spins on how much they charge and we pay it. Our city manager makes $380,000 a year, yet the head of Miami-Dade, Daniela Cava-Levine, does manage the city, and her salary is $250,000. How is it if we compare our salaries to the salaries of neighboring districts, even like Coral Gables, Coconut Grove, smaller towns? It's ridiculous. And I see these bids, we're going to redesign Ocean Drive. $500,000. $500,000 to design it? I thought that's what we pay to build it. No. The second is, the way to get families to come is make the schools their best in Miami-Dade. When you have good schools, people come. People with money come. They want to send their kids to good schools. I recommend that we start a program where we offer, and I know you're going to say we spend $1 million on the schools a year. We have $1 billion budget. This should be a top priority. Free boot camps in math and in writing and reading. You know, Alabama was 49th school district in the country. In 4 years, they moved to 12th. How? Testing kids in 3rd grade, and those that can't do math or read get held back automatically. Well, guess what? Those parents are motivated to tutor them. They don't want their kids held back. They take them to the free boot camps, and they take them to the free programs that are the kids. What you're willing, and stop selling our land. We should be banking it. At Miami Beach has a surplus. We should never be banking. You can comment on any of those.
Right, everybody has that.
I don't know if there was a question in there.
So again, that's something that's on everyone's mind, especially when it comes to the city employees. This year we're going to have the highest number of city employees the city has ever had, at 2,300 city employees. One of them is one of our candidates here in Group 1 sitting right beside me. Unfortunately, for the rest of the candidates here in Group 1, we all had to quit our unpaid board seats to run in this year's election. But Monica Salinas actually gets paid a salary to continue campaigning on our taxpayer dollar, and that's the inefficiencies that this city runs on sometimes. It's not only about the high salaries, but it's about the injustices that everyday residents face. Like the city manager is paid $380,000. I also believe that the city should have a resign to run rule, just like the city of Miami does, because the city of Miami is often considered more fraudulent and a bigger dumpster fire than this city is, and they have a resign to run rule for over 12 years. And so I think it's very unjust. Monica is running this campaign on our tax dollar, and I have to fund my own campaign, and I have to take out loans while she's getting paid for taxpayers' dollars.
Yes, response.
Since you've attacked her, we'll let her.
Well, no, I didn't attack her. It's just the truth. It's just the truth.
Right.
So,
Right.
Nice
booty.
It is true. I do work for the city of Miami Beach. I've worked for the city of Miami Beach for 3.5 years. Again, I started as a legislative aide. I love working for the city of Miami Beach. I think more residents should work for our city. We should encourage our residents to work for our lovely city. I'm not ashamed of it. I know that it upsets Omar quite a great deal. don't know what to say to him because
Could have taken an absence of leave and came back pending the results of the election.
So right now I work in the fleet department, which is an in-house mechanic department, and I'm an office associate, so I run fuel reports. I am actually on leave right now, so that still upsets Omar, but listen, I have explored definitely applying and getting other jobs, but I am taking a leave right now, and unfortunately Omar is still very upset about this, but yes, I do work for the city. Thank you.
Just like we all should be, actually.
And he mentions it whenever he can.
Yeah, I do. I bring it to light because it's very unfair.
I feel like he's not as upset at, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like he's not as upset at like you having a job. I think he's more upset at the rule in general that people have to resign from being on whatever committee or something that you're on, but you don't have to resign from the city job. I think that's what he's more upset at, not that you specifically. Like, good for you, honestly. Good for you because you're getting that job, and good for you.
It goes back to the city manager question. It goes back to, no, I'm not. It goes back to the city manager question.
Let's look at the fact that Eileen Higgins is still our county commissioner, but she's running for mayor of Miami. But because of different municipalities, she didn't have to resign.
And I don't have to resign anyway. I mean, it's.
Oh yeah, that is interesting. So maybe it's just an example of the bad rules that are plentiful in Miami.
And by the way, exactly what I was pointing
in
out,
Miami
that
County,
we have a city
you only have to
manager that's
resign
paid
if
so
you're a
much.
director level or above. I'm an office associate.
Well,
in the county, okay. If you're a director level or above, there are certain levels. Then you would have to resign, and it doesn't apply. First of all, this city of Miami Beach doesn't have that rule, and even if they did have the similar rule that mirrors the county, it wouldn't apply to me.
That's why the city transferred her twice since she filed to run for commission, so that it wouldn't be a conflict of interest.
It's not a conflict of interest. I'm an office associate, guys. I mean,
So resume, she's not doing anything illegal.
We're done with this.
There you go. That's the bottom line.
Commentary. I will give some feedback, if I would, about the schools. So we have a good Peter-Patter program, and South Point Elementary is excellent, North Beach Elementary, Nautilus Middle School, Beach High. A lot of that has to do with the parents and their activism and being involved in PTA. They often come to the city for funding, and I don't think there's ever been a time where the city has turned down funding for the STEAM programs and the camps and different things that the schools need. They fall under the school board jurisdiction, but we as a city do a lot to help. We also have several private schools which are excellent. St. Patrick's, Lehrman, the Hebrew Academy, among others. So we do have good programs, and people do come here and are happy and proud of our schools.
I know about the PTA, but I know about this question.
Ray, who speaks next?
I like this debate. It's so sassy.
So, may I answer your question directly? I think you're right. We should have a base pay system with a performance bonus system in place. We're paying a lot of money in salaries, and what we're getting for it is 2, 3, 4 times, 5 times what you would get in the private sector. You're 100% right. So when you do an infrastructure project on Miami Beach, okay, and take Trader Joe's, for example, that's a project that in the private sector, maybe 4 months, okay? And now we're coming on 2 years. And so we overpay, and we overpay, and we overpay, and everybody at City Hall thumps their chest what a great job they're doing. But in fact, they're not, because the contracts that they write are poor, and the negotiating that they do is poor, okay? And you're never going to get, like I said before, the definition of insanity. We've seen it over and over and over again. Let's talk about the schools. Near and dear to my heart, and my friend Beverly and I have had this discussion before. The Miami-Dade public school system, every student gets a $9,000 stipend from the state of Florida Department of Education. So we'll take North Beach Elementary as the model. There's 900 students at North Beach Elementary School, they get $8.1 million. But what's happening is our schools are only getting about $2.2 million of that. 67% of every dollar that goes to the school is being sucked in by the school district for their incompetency. And when I tell you they're incompetent, they bring a whole new level to incompetency. Okay? We have children sitting in classrooms with no air conditioning. That take Nautilus Middle School, they have no air conditioning right now.
Yeah.
Okay? We've had North Beach Elementary School falling apart. I went to North Beach Elementary School. And the stench in the bathroom at North Beach Elementary School is the same stench as when I was a kid. The auditorium is the same. The cafeteria is the same. They had black mold issues. Okay? So, one of the things that we've talked about, and you know, it's an idea. And remember, we all have to have ideas in order to move something. One of the things that I would like to talk about, and I need people like Beverly to educate me, is creating our own school district here. Okay? Where we have 6 schools and two feeder schools. So that would give us the ability to control 100% of our money. And if we don't start controlling our money and giving it back to our students, and with AI coming, and revamping our schools, we're going to be in a lot of trouble here. And you're exactly right, man. We need to create a world-class school system, and we have the dollars to do it, but the district keeps sucking our dollars away. We have nothing we can control that.
I just want to say, Lynette, hi, we talked about this at length, and I'm absolutely willing to help you with the tutoring program that you mentioned and helping connect with the parents. We do have great parents in the city of Miami Beach, and we have great schools in Miami Beach. But I will tell you the reality of Miami Beach is we also have great income inequality here. We have a lot of poverty here. We have a lot of low-income kids here and a lot of low-income families here, and they don't have access to a lot of the resources that the higher income and the upper middle class families have. And we have to make sure that the education and the tutoring and all of the resources are also given to the lower income students who struggle in our schools, and that's what brings the level of education down. So that's something I'm happy to work on with you.
But we wouldn't have it if we could get our dollars into the district.
So the truth is that enrollment levels are actually falling in public schools throughout the county. It's not just in 1 or 2 schools here. And just a couple of weekends ago in Biscayne Beach Elementary, Beverly, as you'll know, where we have some of the highest SNAP enrollment programs in all of Miami Beach, we actually lost the playground and we lost the community basketball courts due to the broken sewer main that released over 500,000 gallons of dirty water onto the playground or the field where the kids play. So we have some serious issues with our schools here in Miami Beach. A lot of them are because of we're not being represented correctly by our school board representative and the county. We need stronger representation at county level, and we need our city officials to work better and more hand in hand with the county so that we can get these upgrades, because we pay for them through our property taxes.
You could also say the same thing for bed tax. We pay way more bed tax that goes over to the county, and we don't get our fair share back. But that's beside the point.
5 seconds.
Yes, thank you so much. So quickly, in regards to education, I am the first and only candidate that proposed, and this was at the JCC debate that we had there before. I was the first and only one who proposed a pilot program for weekend Saturday and Sunday school. And this would be a volunteer pilot program capped at the first 300 students. And the reason it would be offered for 3 hours a day on both Saturday and Sunday so that we can accommodate those who may be observing Shabbat or Sunday services or anyone at all. Thank you.
Okay, who has a question? Who else has a question? Okay, then we're going to be wrapping it up. I'll give them their final opportunity to.
I want to ask a question to all of you. Are there financial incentives for small businesses to open up or to sustain themselves, because the rents are so high there's a turnover and there's a lot of empty stores. And I think that they need some sort of financial incentive.
We did create a commercial lease subsidy program.
Well, elaborate.
So in collaboration with the Economic Development Department, I worked with them in creating a commercial lease subsidy program where we do help small businesses that take storefronts that have either been sitting empty for a long period of time or that they're replacing nuisance uses. So we've legislated that in certain areas of the city, we don't want to see a proliferation of certain nuisance uses, like tattoo parlors, check cashing store, cell phone stores, smoke shops. We're seeing that like in areas like Washington Avenue, block after block, it was the same mix of retail. Check cashing store, liquor store, tattoo parlors, and then you go to the next block, the bait shops, and then you go to the next block, and it's carbon copy, same thing. So we passed law, said, okay, no more of this. We don't want to have any more of that. But if you come in with a new business model and you're replacing one of those uses, the city will come in and they'll give you a grant and they'll help you with your business. And that's run through our economic development department.
What's the grant?
It's called the commercial lease subsidy.
No, but like how much?
I can't tell you, I don't remember right now. That's a good pop quiz question. Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner Fernandez, for your response. And a quick 5 seconds to Alex's response. Again, we have to look at the direction of our city. Why were none of these permitting issues or any of these problems resolved now? You cannot run against problems which were ignored during the first term.
Can I respond to this as far? So I'm very proud that every year I put together an annual report of all the work that I've accomplished over the past year. It's impossible for one commissioner to do everything in a one-year term. It's the reason why you, the voters, have given commissioners a maximum of 2 terms to get everything done. I'm very proud of the work that I've done over my first 4 years, and it's the reason why I humbly ask you for a second term so I can continue building upon that. It is impossible to do everything in 1 term, and it's also teamwork. One commissioner, if anyone can tell you that one commissioner can fix everything, they're lying to your face, because it's all about first trying to find consensus, trying to find what is that path forward by building teamwork with your colleagues.
Yes, it is a commission of 7, and they all have to get together. Huh?
It's a commissioner of 7, it's not a commissioner of 1.
So yeah, so you do have to work together. No one person can say, I can do this, because they can't.
So, consensus is what is.
I object to the characterization.
Consensus is really what it's all about on the commission, and I've been building consensus with all of the commissioners over the last number of years, but unfortunately, the consensus has not been on prioritizing small business, and it has not been on prioritizing attainable housing. It's been on building luxury glass sky-high rises for the rich and wealthy who don't live here, they only pay property tax, they don't come down and use the services. And part of my platform, my top 4 priorities, 2 of them are supporting small business, because I am a small business owner, a legacy small business owner, and also building more mixed use retail and residential that is attainable, so that we can bring back young families and young professionals like they have to the design district, Wynwood, and all of these nearby municipalities that are mixed use, so the people come from the offices down, they use the restaurants, they use the cafes, they visit the stores, then the residents come down, they use the restaurants at nighttime, all throughout the day. We need more mixed use and more attainable housing, and the emphasis and the consensus on the City Commission needs to be more on that, instead of just these high-rise luxury towers that nobody lives in.
There's no such thing as, reinventing the wheel. years ago, we talked about when there was all the clubs on Washington Avenue, and during the day there's nothing going on because they're open at night, but yet there's a tailor, some small business, shoe repair. They can't afford, those kind of rents. So if they all had small little shops in the front that they could be open during the day, then they have their clubs in the back and whatever at night. So, these are all things that have been talked about for years. Has it happened yet? No, but it's still a thought. I'm going to give everybody a chance to ask for your vote one more time. We're not going to do any more questions. I think a couple minutes to wrap up, and we'll start with you, Brian.
I'm Brian Erlich. I think we need to bring the magic back to Miami Beach. We know that we have incredible high quality architecture here. We have the creativity here. We have our buildings, the Art Deco access that we talked about, and we have the people that are in this room and the people in this city that we can unleash to change this city. And I'm a product of this city. This is the city that embraced me as a young man and has allowed me to live my life with freedom. And I would just say that to give you a little bit of sense of who I am, I have a unique blend of private sector experience and a civic track record. I've built companies here. I have helped guide our cultural arts organizations here, and I have launched a tech startup as well. I understand how real estate projects are built, what they cost, and how to get the most out of developers to leverage the most out of them for community benefit. And I've knocked on over 9,000 doors in this city. And I think that tells you something about what kind of commissioner that I will be. Relentless, disciplined, and ready to deliver results for you. Thank you. I'm Brian.
Ooh, perfect timing. Wow.
Hi everyone, my name is Ava Frankel. I think that a lot of the things that we speak about tonight or spoke about are very obvious, and I think that every single commissioner or candidate here will agree that we need certain things. We need the permits to be faster, we need our schools to be better, we need our drains to do what they're built to do. We need so many things that we just need. It's very simple. You don't need to elect someone to tell you that we need these things because it's very obvious, painfully obvious. But what we do need are commissioners who believe in possibility, who approach every single problem with creativity and out-of-the-box thinking, and that's what I do. We've spoken about the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. I'm the youngest candidate. I have the most original campaign going out of anyone that I'm collaborating with here, or whatever it's called. And if you want innovation and creativity, I am the vote. So vote for Ava. Thank you, and tell your friends.
Thank you. It's an honor to serve this community and have the opportunity to serve you in the future. I have actually, as of yesterday, been endorsed by Vote Water, which is one of Florida's largest advocacy groups that pushes a political agenda to enable cities like ours to become a better place to live, to improve our quality of life, because I believe that as a coastal city, we should not only be more resilient, but truly more sustainable. We need to stop sweeping our problems under the rug and whitewashing them by throwing money at them and never actually resolving the issue. My top priority in this city is infrastructure, because we have broken sewer lines and broken stormwater systems that don't serve the capacity of this city anymore and don't serve the thousands of new units that are going to be coming online in the next year or so, or in the next couple of years. I also would love to bring back small business to Miami Beach, but as I just said, we can't just bring businesses back here and not have customers. We need to bring back people to Miami Beach, and we need to bring back the right type of people so that we're not bringing back the spring break crowd that we just got rid of a few years ago. And how do we do that? By expanding our economy into a new niche. Because we've been saying for so many years that we want to build a better Miami Beach of the future that is live, work, play. And right now we're doing great at the play part, but we're not doing so great at the live and work part. And by building more mixed-use retail and mixed-use residential developments, we can achieve that just like other nearby municipalities have done so in the last number of years. And we can also bring more HQs and expand our economy into a blue and green economy. Just like Brickell became the financial district in Miami-Dade County, Miami Beach can also become the blue and green hub for creativity and bring back higher paying jobs, higher quality jobs to our city. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Hi. Again, my name is Monica Mateo Salinas. I love Miami Beach. I'm raising my children here, and I hope one day I'll be able to raise my grandchildren here too. I'm going to be here for a very long time, 120 if I'm lucky, 120 years old. And I love Miami Beach. That's why I live here. That's why I work here. And that's why I'm raising my children here. Some of my ideas are innovative, and I haven't had a chance to explain them yet. But I'd like to bring the satellite book fair, the Miami-Dade College Book Fair. I used to work at Miami-Dade College at the Institute for Civic Engagement and Democracy. And we used to help run the book fair. They have a fabulous book fair. Right now, Miami Beach does not have a bookstore at all on Miami Beach. If you want a book, you have to drive off the beach. You can maybe get one at Publix. You can go to the library and check one out, but some people like to have a book and reread it and reread it and reread it. I personally like the way a new book smells. I want to bring the book fair to Miami Beach. Let's figure out a place where we can have a satellite fair here. I also want to have more emphasis on education. Lynette, you've already asked this question. I think we need to be reaching out to some schools like Princeton, Duke, and see if they could do a satellite campus here. And not just for bachelor degree programs, but we can look at programs that are a PhD program or a master's degree program where students are studying marine biology, architecture, or some of the other highly valuable urban planning. Those type of programs that do not exist here in Miami Beach, let's have satellite campuses here for some of the bigger Ivy League schools. Let's explore that. Lastly, I just want to say that I appreciate your time and you being here. Ray, thanks for having us. I bring the community roots to this discussion. I've been here for 16 years. I bring the community roots. I bring a political acumen. I'm very qualified, and I hope I bring your vote tonight. Thank you very much.
Hi everybody, I'm your Commissioner Laura Dominguez in Group 2, and it's been an honor to serve you the past 3 years. Some of the things that I've looked at making changes to and improve were streamlining processes. So one of the first things I did was work with our finance department and make it easier for the business tax receipts and get them recategorized. Another thing that came to my attention was that bad actors weren't being held accountable by our special magistrate. So I sat with the special magistrate and the city attorney and streamlined the process there to make more accountability for people who were doing bad to our city, and that's been very helpful. You can read a full list of my accomplishments and things that I've supported at lauradominguez.vote. I love being your commissioner. I want to be here for another 4 years. It would be my honor to serve you. And I humbly ask for your vote in this election, Laura Dominguez, on ballot number 140.
Hi, I'm Fred Carlton. I'm a 60-year resident here. And again, I'm doing this for free. My barometer is simple. Is it good for the residents or is it not good for the residents? You know, we have things, here's a fun fact. The Playboy Company wanted to come here and bring their offices here, and they asked the city of Miami Beach for $800,000 to subsidize their move here. Okay, and the commission actually considered it. It's an alternate universe for me, why we would do something like that. My opponent says that she wants to serve you, and in fact she does. She wants to serve you, but unfortunately she serves special interests. She's voted 11 times now for high-rise projects and increased FARs. Of that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of those she's sponsoring.
okay? So that's not gonna happen with me, okay? With me, you're not getting a height increase. You're not getting an FAR increase. I'm absolutely not a special interest candidate. We need to fix our infrastructure. Our budget has ballooned from $300 million to almost $1 billion. We have projects sitting on the table for 10 years, 20 years, even 25 years. I don't know what it takes to get something done in 25 years. I have no idea. But I can tell you this. One thing I know how to do is move a project. And one thing I can tell you is that I'm here to represent you and what your interests are, not special interests. So I humbly ask for your vote. Again, I'm doing this pro bono. And I'm Fred Carlton, and it's 141. Thank you.
You don't get to lie. My opponent has spent his entire race lying about me and my record, and he doesn't get to do that. He sits here and tells you lies because he doesn't have a record. I think it was mentioned earlier that there are 7 votes on the commission, so I am simply 1 vote, and majority gets any project over. When a project comes before the commission, it is vigorously and rigorously reviewed. It first goes through land use. It then goes through the city. Sometimes it stays in land use for months and months and months. The city administration, whether it's the city manager or the city attorney, they go over and deliberate over it, and then it goes to commission. Sometimes projects pass, and sometimes they don't. But it's the irony coming from my developer opponent that is trying to say bad things about me. And I'm not going to stand for it because I'm not afraid of bullies. Enough is enough.
Listen, it's just not true, okay? And you don't have to vote for it. You don't have to vote for it. I understand, but you gave her a rebuttal.
Yeah, but you started it, you're done with it.
Okay, well, I'm going to show it to you all, every project, if you'd like to see it. It's right here. Okay? It's not a lie. One thing I don't do is lie.
I want to thank all of you for being out here tonight, for caring about our city, for loving our city. We live in paradise, and we really are very privileged to have so many people who care about Miami Beach. I'm very grateful to all of you for having given me the opportunity over the first 4 years to serve our city. We fought against developer interests when they wanted to target our Art Deco Historic District. We were able to save our Art Deco Historic District from state preemptions. When they wanted to bring in preemptions on our zoning for Live Local, we were able to achieve protections for our architectural design and for our facades, and I was proud to be in Tallahassee fighting for that. In our community, when projects were long stalled, the mayor and the city commission referred them to my committee, to the Land Use and Sustainability Committee, which I chair, to help iron out the wrinkles in the project, and the product that came out of the committee was unanimously adopted by the city commission. That's why now we have a West Avenue infrastructure project that's moving forward. It's why First Street is moving forward. It's why I sponsored the Stop the Pause ordinance to make sure that critical infrastructure projects that are necessary to keep our homes dry, to keep our cars from stalling, to ensure the insurability of our homes and to protect the really good bond rating of our city, that these projects never get stalled by petty politics. I'm here to serve you. I listen to the community. I fought for our tax before tow program that has reduced resident tow by 90%. When Zenaina's neighbors were about to get kicked out of their building, I teamed up with our state senator, Eliana Garcia, to get them extra time, to get them financial assistance. I've been proud to pass groundbreaking legislation to protect condo owners from predatory buyout practices. And I'm proud to serve as your city commissioner, and I humbly ask for your support so I continue serving you for another 4 years. Thank you for allowing me to serve you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ray. Thank each and every one of you for being here. I echo those sentiments, Alex. So, as I mentioned earlier, we probably agree on 2/3 or 75% of basic issues. What I'm asking you to do is to make a stark decision and vote for Luigi. Number 144. Vote Luigi. You just heard, respectfully, Ray, said that one commissioner cannot do anything. That's hogwash. All it takes is one person to make a change in this world. And that starts with you. Your vote, your individual vote can make a difference. I'm asking you to vote for true change. And yes, we must work together if that situation does arise. We must work together. I'm running on accountability. I want you to think, after 4 years of the previous commission, are fees going up or fees going down? Is water quality improving or is water quality decreasing? Is homelessness increasing or is homelessness decreasing? Are sexual assaults increasing or are they decreasing? The trends, the numbers do not lie. But what is the truth is that your vote is your voice. Your vote is your voice. Your vote is your power. People have fought and died and have been beaten and have had milkshakes thrown at them at Walgreens milkshake stands for the right to vote. It's very important. It is something that is really sacred in our society. So I ask you to vote, and thank you so much for being here. Vote Luigi 144.
Well, thank you all for coming. Got 2 more weeks. And I will be luckily floating on a cruise, so I won't know who wins, so I can't go to winning parties or losing parties.
Well, good for you. That sounds nice.
Where are you going on your cruise?